welcome to another episode of In the City con Cristi. Today we're going to be talking to Chick-fil-A owner right here in Doral, Victor. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Christy.
You're excited to be here with us?
I am.
I'm so excited to have Chick-fil-A, not only because we got some delicious food. I love Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A is a staple in our community. People love it here. You guys are currently building a new location.
Yes, ma'am.
Super excited.
Oh, so
you guys have built that super fast, too.
Well, to us, not fast enough. But yes.
It's gone up faster than the guardhouse in front of Costa del Sol. So.
Well, we're grateful for that. So.
Yes. So we want to talk a little bit about the Chick-fil-A model, the business model. You know, here on our podcast, we like to focus and feature all the incredible people that live, work, learn, and play here in the city of Doral, why they choose the city of Doral, why city of Doral is special to them, and what makes city of Doral special. In this case, Chick-fil-A has been, I'll tell you, during my campaign, I had a little girl come up to me and say, I'll vote for you if you open up another Chick-fil-A in the city of Doral, like if, you know, I made that decision. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. I could definitely use another Chick-fil-A in the city of Doral. And so we're super excited that Chick-fil-A is in the city of Doral and has been here for many years. And you know what really intrigues me about Chick-fil-A's model is not just the food, but it's the service that you guys provide.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to us a little bit about how you got involved in Chick-fil-A, what drew you, what attracted you to the company and the franchise. You know, Chick-fil-A also has some very high standards of principles and morals, which I think are so important for the successes that it's had and a crucial part of the success it's had. So we want to learn a little bit more about Chick-fil-A, its impact in our community, and how more business owners that watch us can emanate what Chick-fil-A's business models have been that's made it so successful.
Well, thank you, first of all, Christy, for having me on your show. I appreciate that. Thank you for the opportunity. It's always great to be able to talk, not necessarily about Victor Zaldivar. The truth is, I love talking about Chick-fil-A. Yeah. You open up, you know, the two things I like to talk, three things actually. I like to talk about God, when people open that up, my family, and Chick-fil-A. Yes. With me, I'm more reserved about that. But when given the opportunity to talk about a company like Chick-fil-A, you mentioned, you know, what got me interested in Chick-fil-A. I'll be honest with you. 21 years ago when I first looked into it, I was in my early 30s, right? Was wondering what I was going to do with my life. I had a business degree, was working at a place that I didn't really like probably most of us, you know. But then I found out about Chick-fil-A. I searched, the more I searched into the company, the more I thought it was too good to be true. Because it really is. You walk into corporate headquarters and you're enamored with the place. You know, have you ever been to a place, I compare it to Disney World. Like a kid, you walk into Disney World for the first time and you're like, oh my gosh, you feel like the princess, right?
Yeah.
Or the prince. Well, that's the way I felt at Chick-fil-A the very first time I stepped on Chick-fil-A. Everybody was so friendly, so nice, so courteous. It was too good to be true. So that kind of piqued my interest. A friend had told me about Chick-fil-A, and I thought, I didn't get a business degree to do fast food, right? Who goes into thinking, all right, I'm gonna get a business degree and open up a restaurant or something like that. That's not my thought. But when I found out about Chick-fil-A, the values, you mentioned the values and the culture that they espouse, you know, it was like it lines up very, very well with my values, as you well know. And so that's the reason why we're able to be in every community, and every community you go to, you have people lining up outside. You know,
it's incredible.
We call it the first 100.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do that. I think they kind of went away from that model, but there are some areas that still do the first 100, and then you got, 300 people camping out, and you.
I read that. So
chosen.
I read that they have something called the first 100 camp out, and the first 100 customers at a new Chick-fil-A location get free Chick-fil-A for a year.
Well, yes. Technically. So let's talk about this, because when people say that.
Yeah. Because you have a new location opening up. We don't want 300 people out there.
It's not free Chick-fil-A 365 days a year.
Okay.
They call it that, of course, but it's basically you get a coupon, a DOC, a digital offer card, we call it, with a meal. You have your choice of any meal you want. So you get 52 of those. So we call it, Chick-fil-A
really
for
cool.
a year. If
That's
you want to
really
use
cool.
them in 1 month, you can.
So are you doing that at your new location?
Well,
you're going to roll
not,
that out?
because it's not really
a new
grand
location.
opening. It's a new location. It's basically a relocation for me,
Yeah.
which is, a long time coming, to be honest with you. Because as you've known from being in that plaza as well for years, the issues that we've had there.
Yeah.
Obviously,
You outgrew it. You outgrew
we
that
outgrew
space.
it a long time ago. So Chick-fil-A's been looking actually for a spot for a while now, but property isn't exactly cheap, and it's hard to find here in Doral.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about Doral is that it's grown,
Mm-hmm.
so much. So there's very few places where you can actually, go and buy a piece of property.
Yeah. You guys got a great spot there. It's
Yes.
beautiful. It's huge. You have double drive-through now.
Double drive-through, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And let me tell you, one of the things that I find just astonishing every time is no matter how hot it is outside, your attendants are out there with a smile on their face, attending to people, not complaining. And from someone who came from the service industry, because I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and had several businesses as well. And I come from the service industry to a certain extent as well too, when we had our stores, and it's hard, to manage so many employees and schedules, and they tend to be younger students many times too. And so that can get difficult to provide that service unless you have like an extreme amount of training. So talk to us a little bit about that.
It isn't easy, that's for sure. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'd like to think that all kids come out of the box and they're all they all know how to sweep and mop and say my pleasure and smile, right?
Yeah.
And actually mean it, because you say my pleasure and you'd like to think a smile is behind it, rather than just a word. So it is difficult in terms of training my top leaders to be able to train the younger generation. But the truth is, when you enjoy what you do, there's an old saying that you don't consider it a job, right?
Oh, I feel like that all the time. I tell people that. People are like, you work so much, and I'm like, I guess I don't feel it because I love what I do, and because I love what I do, it doesn't feel like work. Now, I don't always have perfect days. It's hard.
No,
I have good days and I have bad days.
But you know that within those imperfect days, you have joy that whatever the day may bring, you know that you enjoy what you do, and those days will come, like everything else in life, right? But when you enjoy what you do, you're able to pour your heart into it. You're able to be genuine. That's one thing that my leadership is. It's genuine. We really care for the people. I like to think that you can take any one of our kids and go, hey, what is it that you love about Chick-fil-A? Do you ever get to see your boss? Do you enjoy working for your boss? I like to be able to say, my boss is great, the leadership is great, and that's what you want in a workplace. Because for young people, especially nowadays, ever since COVID, it's become a little bit more difficult to get those individuals. So it has become harder.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Being in an industry, and again, this is for the benefit of all the business owners that are watching us, that are either building their businesses or maybe have businesses and are struggling with labor. Are you seeing that struggle as well and filling your workforce? How do you motivate them? How do you get them more involved? What are the values that are instilled from the corporation that make your team the incredible team that they are, to have that smile on their face and really do their work with pleasure?
Well, treat them well. We have a saying, we treat people with dignity, honor, and respect. And it doesn't start with our customer, right? It starts with our people. Because if I don't treat my people with the dignity, honor, and respect, see, I always tell them, when I do interviews sometimes, I always tell them, listen, I know what you expect from a boss is probably somebody who yells and screams and maybe curses every so often because I'm the boss, but that doesn't give me a right to treat you like a human being. I guarantee you're not going to hear a curse word out of me, a scream out of me. I'm not going to be throwing things. I know because, as you know, you've worked, growing up as well for people, individuals who, when things don't go right, they don't react the proper way. I don't ever want a team member or any of my leadership to be the kind of individuals that don't treat people with the dignity and the respect that I treat them. And that Chick-fil-A treats me with. The truth is, it starts from the top.
Right. I was going to say, it has to have come from the training you received.
Yes.
Even to be able to, because as a leader and as a boss, we sometimes encounter moments where we want to yell at the top of our lungs because like it's frustrating.
Those frustrating days, imperfect days, they come. Yes.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of training from the leadership side too, I think, to
it
be able to pass that along and really it penetrates the work environment.
You treat them well. You pay them, pretty good too, and then you hold them to expectations that they don't think they're able to meet.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how they'll respond. You don't think so. See, we make the mistake of saying, our kids can't do this. Our kids can do a lot of things. Our young people can't do this, but they can. You have to set the expectations, which we do at Chick-fil-A, and we pay them well, we treat them well, and we don't hold them out there on the heat, like you mentioned. They're out there in the heat. We don't have them out there for 2 hours, you know.
Right. Yeah. You switch them out. Everybody has to do the work.
Drinks.
Yeah.
They all have to be able.
And they all get to get shakes, right?
Yes, they do. If they're out there, we give them a special treat, and you know, just that alone,
Yeah.
you know, is something. So we entice them with things that we feel they would really be happy to get. You know.
That's
so
awesome.
all of that helps. It's really not a,
Yeah.
you know. I'm surprised not more businesses apply the principles that.
I think
because a lot of business people ask me about that because
Yeah.
they come into my restaurant, they go, how do you get?
we did it, remember?
Yes,
My
yes, I
husband came
remember
in
that.
once when we were running our business, and got to a point where we were like struggling with employees. It was hard to keep people for a long time, and that's what we did. We would take them on field trips. Like, we were trying to do a lot of team building, and our first groups, like, they were great. They stayed with us for a really long time, but there's transitions, right? There are stepping stone jobs, which it should be. There should be a place for them to grow, to learn a little bit, and we tried to give them responsibility to feel like a part of the business, but it's hard to build that feeling, and we noticed it more when we started to open up multiple locations. You lose a little bit of
would agree with
control with right,
Yes.
because you can't be everywhere at once. When
Of
we were
course.
always there, it was easier because we were always there. They felt they were part of it. They wanted to be with us. We would take them on field trips and stuff like that. But once we opened up several locations, it got hard. I'm one person. My husband's one person. We were doing multiple things, and so it got hard to be there. So that's also.
You said something that's very key. I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to interrupt
No, go
you,
ahead.
but I lose train of thoughts pretty quick, so I get jump in when I can. So you said something very key, which was it gets harder the bigger you get, and it does. And when you're at a location and you know, we got 65 employees right now. We had 92 before the pandemic. Then we're at 60. We've been between 55 and 65 for a while now. Because it's even
So
been
you're
difficult for us.
doing it with less employees.
We're doing
and
it with less
you were
employees,
doing
and
more.
we're doing more sales
I was gonna
now
say you're doing
with
more
less.
because.
But it's committed people, you know, committed
Yeah.
people that want more hours and so forth. But because it is so difficult to get those individuals, you know, and people come in, business people say, hey man, I want to diversify. Chick-fil-A is like gold mine. How do you get one? I said, well, first of all, the key to running a good Chick-fil-A is the owner-operator has to have a presence there. I don't have to be there every day, but I have to have a presence either with me or with my leadership in place, doing the things that they learned from me and they learned from Chick-fil-A. And that's important because you can't be an absentee owner, see? And when you get 3-4 different restaurants, you got to be here and there and there.
It's hard.
That's something that we don't, that Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
that's why you notice, you probably know this, but there's a lot of, most of us have one restaurant.
Yes, I've heard that
But
Chick-fil-A
there's
you can
some
only
with
have
two.
one or two.
And some people have 3. I mean, there's probably maybe 30 to 40
And they're mostly
people
family
that have
run,
3.
right? The franchises are family run. a lot of
We try to
times.
involve our family as much as possible. You know, they don't ask any questions concerning, or they do actually, concerning your family and how is that going to affect your family. In that sense, they do ask those
Mm-hmm.
questions early on. Is this going to affect you? Because you have to be you know, you can't be an
And
absentee owner.
involved, right? Yeah.
So they make sure they ask my wife. They interviewed my wife on the very last interview. They want to say, Zuni, are you sure you want to, you know, this is a venture for Victor. Victor's name will be on that ownership plaque, but you are a very important piece to this. Are you sure? Are you
Committed,
along
yeah.
for the ride? And she's, of course, you know, but you're right. It has been a family business because all my children have worked it. They've met their spouses there. A couple of them, you know, we've had about 8 or 9 people, believe it or
Mhm.
not, meet their spouses there at our restaurant. So we
Wow.
kind of, so I would say as a puncher, I would say, listen, you want to meet your future spouse? You're having a hard time? Come to Chick-fil-A. You may be the 10th one. or
Don't
so.
go grab a drink. Come grab a shake.
There you go. There's something about that sandwich
Yeah.
and that shake that
I
that
love
just,
that.
you know, people
What a
fall
great
in love
date
with.
night. I love it. What a great story. That's awesome. You know, and we see it. We were very intrigued by it, and it's something that I think most business owners try and find that secret ingredient, no
Yes.
pun intended, to make their businesses a success. And it does start with your own team.
It
So,
really does.
you know, we definitely all want to try and replicate that Chick-fil-A model as much as possible. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Why Doral? How did you end up in Doral?
You know, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't a thing where I said, I want to be in Doral.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Chick-fil-A, it's you don't pick the property, you don't pick the building, you don't pick the design. Chick-fil-A does all of that. That's one of the to me, one of the fascinating things. You know, because people think, okay, you got to buy the property, you got to buy the equipment, so it must be, you know,
A lot of
$600,000, $700,000 to invest, and it doesn't come near to
So
that.
they're really a partner.
They really are more than a partner. I mean, they provide everything. When I tell you, Christy, they provide everything. That building, from the first brick, they provide absolutely everything. Nothing came out of my pocket. They
That's
built
incredible.
I mean, that's why it's a great model for individuals like me, because, all right, if you're a businessman who's a millionaire, you're looking to Chick-fil-A, you're like, oh, that means I got to share my profit with Chick-fil-A. You may not like the business model.
Right.
But for most individuals that, don't mind the service industry, they know that, hey, it's about, treating people with dignity, honor, and respect, including the customers that, are not always right. You gotta bite the bullet. So I love the concept. I always tell people, to me, it worked out perfectly because just the values alone to me.
Chick-fil-A has grown tremendously though over the last 10 years.
It has.
Because I remember when that location, your location you're at now, was a Krispy Kreme.
Yes,
It was a
that's
Krispy
right.
Kreme. I mean, I remember it was a sandwich shop, then a Krispy Kreme. I mean, I've been here since 2000. I've lived in this community for over 22 years. But I remember the evolution of that property because, and nothing ever stuck until Chick-fil-A. But Chick-fil-A was not something you saw around here typically until about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. You
You're
didn't
right.
see it in South Florida.
No, you're right. They weren't making a concerted effort to build Chick-fil-A's down here because a lot of people didn't know us. So it was kind of like, okay, they're never going to know us if we don't build them. And at the same time, you want, as a business, as a company, because in the end, it's a company. It's
Yeah.
still a for-profit company.
Right, of course.
So they have to make money and go to places where they feel they can sustain their growth in other areas. So
And this market has proven to be that for them.
and this market has, the last 10 years, has proven to be outstanding. I remember we used to meet as 4 people. The guy in Kendall, Justin, myself, Tony in Miami Lakes, and Mauricio in Flagler. It used to be 4 of us. And we used to meet every month and plan out how we can get Chick-fil-A to notice us. What marketing strategy can we create, us 4, to have Chick-fil-A go, hey, there's something going on in Miami that's happening that's really good. We need to be down there.
So Doral was identified as a target market by the company.
Doral was. That is correct. And not only that, I mean, you may not know this, but you probably do, and you're probably keeping it a secret from me. But there's going to be 2 other Chick-fil-A's
Yes, I do
here
know.
within the next 3 years.
Awesome.
And when
We're
you talk
excited.
about closeness, it's like,
It's funny because when I tell people that, they're like, they can service that much of the market, and I go, yes, there is that much need. So imagine that little girl who asked me for another Chick-fil-A. I'm like,
yeah.
I brought
That's what I
another
was gonna
Chick-fil-A.
say.
No, just kidding.
I was going to say that. You kept your promise.
I told her.
But
She's like, I'm going to vote for you again. It's a little girl. She's, I don't know,
Of
12
course,
years old.
of
She's
course.
hilarious. But I've been asked for that, and I was asked for a zoo. I don't know where I'm going to stick a zoo, but that's the 2 things
That's a
I've been
long
asked
far
for by
away. But
kids.
definitely the Chick-fil-A's.
But yes.
We'll help you on that.
We're super excited that Chick-fil-A is going to have another location here. And it's not just Doral. We do service a lot of people that are in Fontainebleau as well. And so I know that one of the locations will definitely attract that area.
Well,
as well.
there's a lot more coming. I'd say within
Yeah.
the next 5 years, you're going to probably see about 10 to 15 more Chick-fil-A's, in just
Within a certain mile radius, not all
Yes.
in Doral.
not all in Doral.
No,
No,
yes.
I think 3 is
3.
enough for
I think
Doral.
we were identified as a 3-store
Yeah.
market. So
And that is correct.
yeah.
But Chick-fil-A does choose
And mostly of the
communities.
size of the new one you're building.
Well, one of them is going to be what we call a drive-through only, 2 double
That's the
double
one,
drive-throughs.
yeah.
That's the one over here
Yeah,
on
it's
87.
87.
The other one's going to be hopefully like this one.
Yeah, like this one.
Because we can't
Yeah.
go into a little small parking
Yeah,
lot anymore.
yeah.
Chick-fil-A has noticed that, listen, wherever we go in little small parking lots, we're going to cause issues with the land.
Right, and we
owners
definitely don't want
property.
the traffic backup.
That's another thing.
You know what?
We don't want
You
that.
want to be surprised at this. I don't want to say want to laugh, but we get a lot of complaints about traffic and stuff. I've never gotten a complaint about Chick-fil-A's besides certain little issues
Okay.
within the property, but
Yes.
I've never gotten a complaint about backup of traffic on 107th Avenue because of Chick-fil-A.
Well, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know,
So
they-
you guys move it really quickly, I have to
We
say.
definitely do.
And I think people are mostly waiting in the line themselves
Well,
for
that-
Chick-fil-A, and that's why they don't complain.
It
but
amazes me how
we
they're
haven't
willing
gotten
to
it.
wait. You're right.
Yeah.
Even when there is long lines, and when
Yes.
it rains, it kills us because we go from having 4 or 5 people out there taking orders
Right,
to like just a speaker.
Yeah.
And it's one person at a
Right,
time.
right,
So
right,
it does hurt on those rainy
Yeah.
thundering days too. We
Yeah.
bring them in when it starts to thunder.
Yeah.
We got a 5-mile radius.
Right,
and
of
if
course.
it's thundering,
You hear our alarms go off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can bring it in. We're mindful of
Awesome.
that.
Well, Chick-fil-A also has a great track record of being very involved in the community and being great community partners. You've been great community partners with me in the past and our city. And so, that's something else that I want to congratulate you guys on, and want to see if you want to touch on as well, how important it is to be involved in the community that supports you.
Chick-fil-A realized a long time ago that the best way to get entrenched in the community, we can bring the chicken and they'll fall in love with the chicken like most kids, right? They all love it. I love Chick-fil-A, the nuggets and all that. Most parents love that because of that. My kid loves Chick-fil-A, and we love to hear that. So you entrench yourself in the community by being out there, and I always go into places, today I went into a couple of places where we went in and we said, hey, we want to be part of, we're opening up a new location where we're going to be doing some things that we weren't able to do at this location.
Okay.
Every time we did a spirit night, for example, we call them spirit nights with schools, right?
I remember, yeah.
Come, and then we give you whatever percentage of the profits. It turned into a madhouse.
Yeah.
There's not enough parking. There's not enough seats. You have the kids running around because of the space. So it was chaos, and it's not a good look.
Right.
It's
like difficult to execute the real intent
in all areas. So we try to go with a purpose, but it fulfills that purpose, but it creates other issues. So now we have a nice little space, double drive-through, a lot of parking, long line if you want to wait and drive-through. So we want to try to do things that, and Chick-fil-A continues to do things to make us. They say, Victor, we want you to be the mayor. No pun intended.
Please.
We want you to be the mayor of your community when it comes to Chick-fil-A. Meaning, we want people to know who the Chick-fil-A guy is. So when you go somewhere, hey, that's the Chick-fil-A guy. I don't have to have a name tag for them to know, hey, that's the chicken, Chick-fil-A guy. And I do get that a lot. You know? And it's beautiful because that's exactly what Chick-fil-A wants, is for us to go into schools, into businesses, into organizations, and make ourselves known and say, how can we help with whatever venture you may have? And if we can help, we want to be part of that, because we want to be responsible members of our community, not just like some people have accused us of. You guys are all about the money. As long as you guys the line filled and you're keeping going.
No, I've never seen that about them.
And I know some people have because they don't know Chick-fil-A. But if they knew what we stand for, then they would be like, okay, you know what? You guys do a lot of good to communities. We're glad to have you be part of this community, because the truth is, you guys are a big asset. So I never want to be not be looked at as an asset in our community.
Awesome. No, I have nothing but great things to say about the relationship that Chick-fil-A has had with the city, and even when I was at the school board. So I'm very pleased to see the growth of Chick-fil-A in our community, and and again, I think it's great service for our residents, and that's very important too. And I know people love it, so we're very excited about it. We're excited about the growth. I will tell you, what I will miss is sitting in the Chick-fil-A line and seeing the cows look at me.
You know what? Yes.
What an interesting, right? Isn't that funny? The cow sitting, looking across at Chick-fil-A. I'll miss sitting in the line watching the cows.
Yeah, that's true. So am I. There's something about growth that we enjoy, and then there's something about looking at something that you've seen for, in my case, I've been there since 2011.
It'll take a little bit to get.
12 years. It'll take some getting used to,
It will. But all for the best, It's important to have good controlled growth in the community, where we're able to provide, new opportunities for employment for our residents. We've got an incredible workforce. And I know that businesses are also looking to see how they continue to grow and provide opportunities in our community. So we're very, very excited for you. Well, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to today's show, and then I would love to do a rapid fire questions with you.
Well, go ahead. Let's go with the rapid fire.
You want to go with the rapid fire questions? Let's do it.
So rapid fire means I got to answer quick.
You got to answer quick. The first thing that comes to your mind. It's fun. You're going to see. You're going to do great.
Put me on the spot, and then this podcast turns into a disaster. First podcast, you don't have to edit.
No, not at all. We don't edit here. We don't edit the podcast. That's the fun of it. What's the cow's name?
Well, I always forget. The cow doesn't have a name.
Oh, the cow doesn't have a name.
No, it's a Chick-fil-A cow.
I'm going to call her Spots.
A lot of, you can, we just tell people, call it whatever you want. But
or Oreo.
The cow doesn't have a name. He's asexual, so we don't, it's a cow.
It's a cow.
It's just a cow.
Can we call him Oreo?
That's why he doesn't have udders, or I say he.
Well,
you can call him Oreo, you can call him Spot, you choose whatever you want.
I love it.
The cow is special anyway, no matter what name you put to it.
How many years is Chick-fil-A's celebrating? What's the company's been around for how long?
The company's been around since 1946.
Wow.
But the sandwich, the original
chicken sandwich
was founded in 1967.
They originally started as as a healthy food option.
No, they started out in obviously in Georgia as a little hole in the wall, probably maybe 20% of this office.
Really?
Really small spot, right? A couple of tables.
But was it regular fast food?
It
I don't know
was
why
regular.
I
Yeah,
had
it
read
was
that it
regular.
was healthy foods.
No, it was
No.
regular fast food
Okay.
from the very beginning. That
With a burger?
hamburgers,
Oh, look at
a
that.
hamburger. So yeah, poor Cal wasn't in the picture back then, but it was hamburgers, and he wasn't selling chicken sandwich yet because he was trying to perfect the formula, and not until
Ah.
67 did he was able to perfect.
And
the
then it
formula.
got turned completely into a chicken.
Oh,
a
and then
chicken
it just
sandwich.
became a
Fine.
phenomenon. It's
Yeah.
amazing. A little story, real quick. There's back then, Truett Cathy is the founder, obviously. Very generous and very nice, godly man. There's not a person that you can ever meet him that would say otherwise. When he started the chicken sandwich, it's like, why didn't anybody else think of a chicken sandwich? There was
Yeah.
a hamburger. Why not a chicken patty?
Yeah.
So what happened is people were buying up the rest of the parts of the chicken. The legs, wings, everything. And so the breasts were kind of like not as popular. So he thought, all right, there's a lot of breasts. It's the cheapest part back then, of course,
Right.
because nobody wanted it. Everybody wanted the rest of the chicken. And so he thought, I'm gonna think of something to do with that breast. Obviously, there's plenty of it. And so
Wow. And
He
so
did
that's how
something with
he
the
came up with it's not just the chicken though, it's that crust.
it
That
is. It's
breading
that
on that
breading.
chicken.
It is.
And then the pickles.
It's like
and
a secret that's hidden.
You
at
brought me a chicken sandwich,
corporate.
right?
I think we brought you. We
I'm
definitely
just
brought you
kidding.
chicken.
I'm just
We brought you
kidding.
chicken. I like to think we brought chicken sandwich. If that's
Oh,
your
I
favorite.
love that fried chicken with pickles. That's my favorite. And the
that
Chick-fil-A
is-
sauce.
Oh yes, the Chick-fil-A sauce.
And
The
then
mo- the
and
most
then your
popular.
shakes are just, can't have a
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A sandwich without a shake.
Yeah, that's my downfall. As you can't see the camera can't see what's below the table, but yes, I'm taking on too many shakes
Nah,
myself.
you
'cause they
you
are
look
good.
great.
They
All
are
right,
good.
let's do a rapid fire questions with Victor. All right, Victor, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Waffle fries or chicken nuggets?
Chicken nuggets,
Spicy chicken sandwich or original chicken sandwich?
original.
Okay. Cow Appreciation Day versus Sauce Appreciation Day.
Cow Appreciation Day any day. Those cows are iconic.
But you do have a good burger every once in a while, right?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Just making
Yes,
sure.
Indeed.
Oh, this is a hard one for me. Polynesian sauce or Chick-fil-A sauce?
Ooh, Chick-fil-A sauce. still.
Okay. I don't know. That Polynesian sauce is pretty good.
It is pretty good, but the Chick-fil-A just tops
You prefer people who drive in or drive through?
it. Drive-through. by far.
Okay. Frosted lemonade versus frosted coffee.
Frosted coffee.
I haven't had your frosted
I
coffee.
think our lemonade is sweet, and I like sweets,
I love your lemonade.
but whenever it's too sweet, like a cake, my kids
Yeah,
make
yeah.
fun of me because I take the frosting off a cake.
Oh,
It's already sweet enough, so
Yeah.
the frosting to me makes it
Sometimes too much.
sweet. But yeah, iced coffee definitely is.
breakfast menu or lunch menu?
I'd say breakfast because I love those minis.
They're so good.
Oh,
Those
little bun
biscuits.
with a little honey and the biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm a breakfast.
See, that wasn't
breakfast
too
guy.
hard. You did great.
Café con leche or American? Café con leche.
Oh, well,
every
no, you
time.
can't give up. Man, my
Well-
café con leche is still sitting on the dust from this morning. I drink it. I spent all day. My
Listen,
husband
the day
thinks
we
it's the
start selling
grossest
café
thing.
con leche, I think we're going to start selling more biscuits.
Yes, for
I
sure.
look forward to that day.
I love it.
I keep harping Chick-fil-A.
You
on,
keep
"Listen,
telling them
we
South
could
Florida
just-
needs
where is
café con leche
Florida?
and Chick-fil-A.
I can't sell as good as our American coffee may be.
Listen, I go every morning, well, not every morning, but most mornings I'll walk over to Publix and I like my café con leche, oscurito, a little bit darker,
Yeah.
con la azúcar del café, and it's just a splash of salt. Somebody saw me putting salt in my coffee the other day, and they're like, Niña, eso no es azúcar. And I'm like, no, I know. It's sal. I just put like a splash. My grandmother
heard
taught
it.
me that years ago, and it cuts the acidity of the coffee. And I love it. And that's like my breakfast. I drink that most days. I love my café con leche in the mornings. And I buy a big cup, but I don't have them fill it all the way. In Publix, ya me conocen. And I take all day to drink it. So I drink it cold even. Like I drink little by little. I drink it like all day. And my husband thinks it's the grossest thing in the world. 'cause
Most people do.
I
Cold.
spend most of my day drinking like little by little my coffee. So just a little
Yeah.
tip about Christi Fraga and how she drinks her coffee.
I love it.
I like it
Unique.
hot or cold. I
There's
drink
a
my coffee.
uniqueness about that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Victor, thank you so much for being here with us today.
I thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
Brian.
bringing Oreo. I'm going to
Yes,
call him Oreo.
Spot,
That's going to
Oreo,
be
you
my
name it. It's
I'm gonna
here.
call him
It's
Oreo.
here to celebrate our
New-
relocation grand
So
opening. Really,
tell
so I
us a
wanted-
little bit real quick about the reopening.
Well, we're hoping.
Do
to
we
open
have a
in
date yet?
2 weeks. Right now it's pending. By tomorrow, I
It
should
is.
know.
I have to say, it's incredible how quickly you guys did that.
Well,
We went
it's
away
like-
for a couple of weeks with the family.
the past 2 months
and
have
I
moved quick.
came back and I was
They
like,
have.
I was like, that is incredible. And it's right across the street from my house.
Is it?
Yeah, I live in Costa del Sol right there. So it's right across the street from my house. And I couldn't believe it because seriously, we're building a little guardhouse and it's taken us longer.
I saw that. Yeah, you got it. It's been blocked up for a while.
I know. Thank you. Don't remind me. I get the calls all the time.
Oh,
we're trying to get it
gosh.
open, but they've had some issues. But it's incredible how quickly you came up. So you're thinking about 2 weeks?
We're thinking 2 weeks. Our projected date is Monday, August 7th
Okay.
would be the ideal date.
Awesome.
If anything happens with, permits here,
Yeah.
and little different things that can, get in the
Okay.
way, then it would push the date forward by a week probably. But
Okay.
we're
Well,
we're not looking open before August 7th.
We'll make sure to put it in our social
Thank you.
media.
Thank
I
you
would
very
love to
much.
be there whenever you guys are doing
That
your
would be great.
opening. So maybe I can come and serve some of our residents from the other side. You could teach me what it is to be a Chick-fil-A attendant for the day. I would love that. I would
Well,
love that.
I think the
And I'm
community-
sure I learned a thing or two about customer service because I'm not perfect and I make mistakes
But you know what? I think it's in you. I don't think you'd be in
yeah.
a position you were with.
I would love to do it. It's
So,
fun for me.
I think it'd be great.
I love to
seriously.
interact with the
Well,
community.
we're gonna
I would
have
love to do
that.
it. Yeah.
Believe me, Janace's over
Call
there
me.
listening
Yes.
to this, and she's taking
I
notes.
will be there. I love it. And I'm really, really excited for it. The location looks beautiful. You guys are incorporated what we're doing for our master plan and our new Doral Boulevard and the meandering sidewalks. You saw how pretty it
I
looks,
saw
right?
It does look beautiful.
It
The
really
little
creates
lights on
such a nice separation
that
between
is
the road
very
and the
good
ideas that as properties get redeveloped or new properties develop, you will have that same look all throughout the community, and it's a way to kind of make improvements to the community.
Yes,
so
well, it
we're
definitely gives it a beautiful look. So.
we're excited, but we're
But-
seeing a lot more pedestrians and a lot more biking, and so we want to make our city as pedestrian friendly as possible, and really invite the community to enjoy the outdoors
Well,
and walk.
I would agree. I think it's
Yeah.
something we could all use a little more of. a little walk.
Absolutely, especially we're going to be having Chick-fil-A shakes.
That's right. So I'm going to do one thing before we go.
Yes.
I got a little something for you that I wanted to.
Oh,
We got a little
cute.
gift for you.
That's for
here
me.
from-
I
these
get
are the
my
girls.
own Oreo.
These are, see? You
I
get your own
love
little
it.
Oreo
Very,
and-
very cute. Thank you so much.
Oh,
That
it's
is
my pleasure.
beautiful. That
That's
is
the girls.
beautiful.
That's not really, I wish I could take credit for some of the ideas, but the truth is I got some people behind the scenes that said, you're not just going to go with food, right? You got to go with something
Aw,
else. So
thank you
that's
so
on their
much.
behalf.
We're just as good. We're only as good as our team, right?
Well, amen to that.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Yes.
you, Victor, so much for being us.
Thank
Thank
you,
you again for joining us for another episode of In the City con Cristi, where we get to meet all the incredible people that make up the greatest place to live, work, learn, and play, Doral. See you soon.
Yeah.